Okay, today we are going to review the halachas of Ma'ariv on Shabbos, siman Reish Sadi Gimel. The following is a written document of the notes that I took to summarize the siman. We're going to start with the introduction. Torah says that we delay davening Ma'ariv to end Shabbos later. That's the Torah says. Okay, why should we say V'hu Rachum with the longer tune? The Ramah says that the custom is to say V'hu Rachum with the longer tune. So the question is why? Um, we end Shabbos later. The word Zarua says that the neshamos, all these souls, they return to Gehenna on Motzei Shabbos. And we therefore want to extend V'hu Rachum in order to delay the process of the neshamos returning to Gehenna. Okay. Another answer is we want to escort Shabbos like we escort a king. That's another answer. Answer number 3 is we delay V'hu Rachum in order to delay when we end Shabbos. And we see from this the importance of delaying Shabbos even by a few moments. Why should we delay ending Shabbos in general, you might ask? Answer number 1, the Prisha explains some places it was possible to make a mistake and think that Shabbos ended even though it was still day. In other words, we end Shabbos later as a precautionary measure not to violate Shabbos completely. Another answer is we end Shabbos in order to demonstrate we end Shabbos later that Shabbos isn't a burden for us. Lastly, Rokeach explains that we end Shabbos, that we explains that we delay, explains that we delay ending Shabbos in order that the souls won't return to Gehenna. When does Shabbos end? So even though Shabbos ends when 3 stars are visible in the sky. Yeah. Hello? Okay, thank you very much for okay, so the when does Shabbos end? Okay, even though Shabbos ends when
Well, I could
3
open the safe.
stars are visible in the sky, nevertheless, the Mishnah Berurah explains that preferably it is fitting and correct to delay davening Shmona Esrei in order to end Shabbos later. Mishnah Berurah says that someone who has a watch and knows the time when 3 stars emerge can rely on this. The Mishnah Berurah actually says if you know what time Seitzah Chavim is from the previous night, you could rely on that, but certainly, if you have myzvanim.com, you know the exact times you could rely on it. Torah says that someone who has an extenuating circumstance can daven ma'ariv and say havdalah from Plaga Mincha. Okay. However, the bracha of Ner should not be recited. Furthermore, it is prohibited to work until nighttime. Okay. So in other words, technically, person could daven Mariv already and Havdalah from Plagamen incredibly early, 2.5 hours before Shabbos ends this time of year. But you don't say the bracha of Ner, B'Sam Moso, and you're not allowed to do activities you're not allowed to do on Shabbos, such as Muksa, Malacha, etc. Mishnah Berurah says that one shouldn't do something that is weird in the eyes of people. Furthermore, meaning don't do this. Furthermore, someone might be lenient to actually do malacha on Shabbos. Lastly, it isn't so simple to daven Mariv before sunset by the end of Shabbos. Davening Mariv before sunset, before Shabbos, is more lenient since people accept Shabbos earlier on themselves. Moshe Feinstein says that in New York, Shabbos ends 50 minutes after sunset. What a ruling for Ramosha over there. Rabbeinu Tam Shilos. Yeah.
So we didn't talk about like how people daven Maariv so that by the time they're finished with Maariv, they end
We
when
did
Shabbos
we did
ends.
mention that. There is an idea how that could be okay. We saw that yesterday at the end of the Piskei Chuvas. But the problem is that you're saying Shema before Seisel Chochavim. Rabbeinu Tam Shilos. A place where everyone ends Shabbos according to Rabbeinu Tam's time can establish a new minyan that ends Shabbos earlier if new people start moving there. A woman who always ended Shabbos according to Rabbeinu Tam, who married someone who ends Shabbos earlier, may end Shabbos earlier. Someone who extends his Shabbos to Sefer Shabbos or holds like Rabbeinu Tam as a stringency may ask someone else to perform malacha or muksa for him. Miscellaneous people should not impatiently wait for Shabbos to end by looking at their clocks and counting the minutes for Shabbos to end. As stated above, Pri Megadim says that Shabbos should not be a burden. This is a sin and a disgrace to Shabbos. Someone who does this demonstrates that Shabbos is a burden. There are different opinions regarding how late one could extend Shabbos. At the end of the day, look, this is the whole review, guys, 2 pages. At the end of the day, you know, Shabbos is about basking in its holiness. When a person is counting down till the end, that's defeating the purpose. Right? Don't do that. Any questions, comments on this siman?
So again, just going back to that question that I had, I forgot, so the problem is that they're saying Shema, right? Let's say before it says, but other than that, I mean, I guess that they're also saying Shemona Esrei before it says. It's before the right time,
Shemona Esrei, you don't need seats.
No.
No.
I'm not saying you need it, but it's preferable, no?
Definitely not.
Why not preferable?
It's after Shkia. No one says that you. Chamim right? Rabbi Yehuda says Amar Shachar. Excuse me, Plag HaMincha. Chamim say Shkia, right? You don't need it, it's the Rabbanan.
So it's not better to daven after tzeis?
No, I mean it is because for Shema and then the Smichos
Shema, I understand, but I'm saying,
Smichos go with Tefillah also,
right, you get the smichos tefillah.
but not for the Shemona Esrei itself. So it should, I think we might have missed this point. Should daven Ma'ariv slowly, not like those people who are rushing to get out. Okay. Oh, woe to the eyes that see this, that they're belittling the holiness of Shabbos. It's correct. You wash your hands before. If you wash your hands for Mayim Achronim right after, and you know that they didn't get dirty or anything, so then you don't need to rewash. L'chafila, you don't begin Mar before Seis Chachavim. From the letter of law, it's permissible. Okay, because Shabbos will be done.
So he's talking
Preferably,
about on Shabbos or and
You had we're talking about Motzi Shabbos, right? We're talking about over here. Okay. Seems like he discusses this in Os Aleph. A little bit about this point. Right. V'urachum Yen Shabbos later, all that stuff. And Shamas the Gehenna, that's what he's going to. Okay, that's the siman. Good? Yeah.
tangent,
Yeah.
talk about your hands being clean or whatever.
Yeah.
When you, with your shoes, if you remove them, because that's the bottom of the soles, we do have to wash your hands
And
again?
Dollar we discussed if they were clean on the side, they weren't dirty, it's fine.
It's fine, right?
Fine, yeah.